Hello soulmates, welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time viewing my channel, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you. So today we are going to be learning how to draft a corset with deep neckline or illusion neck. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get amazing videos and tutorials from my channel. Thank you. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark out my vertical measurements. So I'm going to go up and mark that point as my starting point, and I'm going to draw a straight line. After drawing out the straight line, the next thing I'm going to do is to place my tape and mark shoulder to bust, mark shoulder to under bust. Then I'll mark shoulder to navel or shoulder to waist. Then I'm also going to mark the top length or the half length wherever it's going to stop. So I'm going to place my tape again and go back and mark all my vertical measurements or all the vertical measurements. Then later I'm going to join the lines together. So I'm going to join my top together from the half length or the top length, going into the navel or waistline to my under bust and back to my bust. So the next thing I'm going to do is to find my chest line. So to get your chest line, you divide your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I have approximately 7. But if you don't want to calculate it, you can just place your tape on the person you're sewing for and measure. Then I'm going to place my tape and mark. After marking out my chest line, the next thing I'm going to do is to indicate my bust point, my under bust point, my half length. Then I'm going to write it out with my marker, my chest line, my bust point, my under bust point, my navel or waistline, then the top length, or if you're making use of your half length, you can indicate. After doing that, the next thing I'll do is to mark my bust pan or nipple to nipple. I'm going to be dividing the measurement by 2, and I'm going to place the measurement at my chest line. Then I'll mark. I'll go down to my under bust, my bust and mark. I'll go down to my under bust and mark. Then go down to my navel or waistline, then my top length and mark. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to outline it, connect the line from my chest to my bust, my under bust, my waist and my top length. Then I'm going to place the tape at my under bust and go up by half, because while wearing a corset you don't need to wear a bra, so you need support for your bust. Then I'll go back to my pattern. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark out the shoulder measurement. So I'll be dividing the shoulder by 2. So the shoulder divided by 2, I have 7. If you're going to attach sleeve, you're going to mark extra half inch. But for this pattern, we are not attaching sleeve. So I'm just going to mark that line and take it down straight at my chest line. So I'll go back to my pattern. I'll measure the distance from my bust to my under bust. So whatever measurement I have, I'm going to take it round. So I have 3, so I'm going to take the 3 round. I'll measure it round from down to the top parts and sideways. After I'm done marking the measurements round, the next thing I'm going to do is to go back up to my shoulder and mark my shoulder slant. After I'm done connecting my shoulder slant, the next thing I'm going to do is to draw out my neckline. So I'm going to be using the normal or standard neckline, which is 3 by 3. So you can use any neckline of your choice. So for this pattern, we are just making use of 3 by 3, 3 inches by 3 inches. So coming down to my chest line area, so you're going to decide where you want your illusion to stop or where your illusion to start. So I'm just going to mark it a bit 1 inch above my chest line. So depending on how deep you want your neckline to be, so I'll just place it and mark at 11. So from there, I'm going to connect it to that line I marked close to my chest line. So I'm going to draw out a faint line to see what it looks like before drawing it out or marking it out very well. So I'm just going to follow that line and draw it out. Since I'm trying to achieve a deeper neckline, I'll go down by 2 inches more. Then I'm going to adjust my line to that point. Then I'm going to reconnect it to the already drawn out neckline. After joining back the lines, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my cup area. I'm going to join back the dotted lines I marked earlier. If you can remember, we measured or took the distance from our bust to our under bust and marked it round and came up by half at our under bust. So I'm going to mark out that 3 inches I marked earlier because it's looking faint. So from there, I'm going to mark out 1 inch because the breast is fuller by this side, and then I'm going to go up by half from my chest, go down by half from my chest line. Then I'm going to connect it back to that point, forming our cup. Then I'm going to outline it and join back that point to the armhole area. So I'm going to use my pencil and mark out or trace out that faint line very well. After tracing it out, what I'm going to do next is to outline or draw my dart legs. So I'm going to go down and join my dart legs. At my half length or at my top length, I'm going to go out by 1 inch on both sides. Then I'm going to go up to my navel, mark 1 inch on both sides. Then I'm going to join my dart legs. So I'm going to join the 1 inch at my navel down to my top length or half length on both sides. Then after connecting that, I'm just going to place my ruler and connect it at my under bust. Do that for both sides. So I'm just going to connect and then connect the other side. So after marking out that dart leg, I'm going to go up and also mark the darts at the upper parts. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here and 1 inch at the other side. Then I'm going to connect it up. Connect at both sides. After marking out all my dart leg, I'm going to use my marker to outline all my patterns or my drawing or drafting that I have made to show you what it looks like. Please, soulmate, if you're really enjoying my video at this point, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn up the notification button to get new updates from my channel, and also drop your comment at the comment section or any video you like me to share with you, and also stick to the end of this video to see how the pattern comes out or turns out. I'll go right back to my pattern. So the next thing I'll do is to insert all my vertical measurement circumference. So at my bust, I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4, then plus the 2 inches dart intake, one on both side, making it 2. Then I'm going to mark that 2 inches dart intake. Then I'll be adding my allowance. Then I will mark. Then at my under bust, I'm going to do the same thing also, but first I'm going to outline or mark out all my straight lines straight. Then I'm going to place my tape at my under bust. So I'm going to divide my under bust circumference by 4. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch, that's half on both sides, that's 1 inch allowance. Then mark the allowance, sewing allowance, which is 2 inches, or you can give more if you want to. So at my navel, I'm going to mark my navel circumference divided by 4, then add my 2 inches allowance plus the 2 inches dart intake. So at the top length or the half length, I'm going to do the same thing, then mark my dart intake plus the allowance. Then I'll go right back to the chest line, then connect whatever measurements or markings I have earlier together. So I'm going to mark from my bust to my under bust, from my under bust to my navel or waistline. So I'll connect from my navel or waistline to my half length or my top length. Then I'll go right back to my pattern and outline it with my pencil very well. Then I'll use my marker to mark it out so that it will be very visible. I won't be outlining the armhole area. After cutting the pattern, I'm going to draw my armhole so that what I have at my illusion part or my upper body will match with the corset area. Then I'm just going to cut out my pattern. I forgot to mark my cup area, so I'm just going to mark 1 and 2 and continue cutting my pattern. While cutting, I'm not going to cut my armhole area until I'm done, and I'm going to place it and then mark my armhole. The reason why I'm doing this is to make sure what I have up is not bigger than what I have down. So I'm going to place it together and see if it blends before marking out my armhole. After I'm done cutting my pattern or the lower bodies, I'm going to place my tape right up and I'm going to mark my armhole curve. Then I'm going to connect it back. Then I'm going to cut whatever I have up there. So I'm going to cut out my neckline and my armhole area. So after cutting, I'm going to join back all my pattern pieces together to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to open it up and place back what I have. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn up the notification button to get new updates from my channel. So this is what I have after drafting. Make sure whatever you have on this pattern, you add half-inch allowance for joining. Even at your illusion part or at your upper part, you can add half inch. So if you also want to alter your own pattern to make the neck deeper, you can go down, and you can also click to watch my other videos on my channel. Thank you very much.